Please welcome to the stage the opening speaker as she shares the insights on the AI evolution, opportunities and dilemmas for the future of mankind.
Well, good morning everybody, bună dimineața, but I'm going to pick and stress your brains a bit because I'm speaking in English first of all, and second of all because I need to wake you up now. It's still the morning, you have the positive energy and the vibe, but we still need a little bit of intro into this great revolution, the AI revolution. And we speak about AI for some years already. We speak about AI in Orange as well. But the first exercise that I want you to do is to project yourself in 15th century. Did you see the vibe? Maybe some of you are Michelangelo, and maybe some of you are Da Vinci. Unfortunately, I don't have any female artist in mind for the moment. It was a different era. But if you projected yourself there, ask yourself a very simple question. If artificial intelligence was that specific brush of our modern Renaissance, what would be your masterpiece? What would you specifically create with the aid of AI? And the answer comes quite simple because we are here to be positive about AI. We are here to be positive about what's happening nowadays. All of us and a lot of companies are testing solutions, are implementing bots in every stage of the business. For the moment, they are rather more on the cost optimization side, to be fair, and not so much on the revenue generation side, but still, this is a huge opportunity, a huge set of tools to turn our imagination into masterpieces. So, AI is doing that. It's giving you these specific tools, but it is our curiosity. It is for sure the decision-making, which is totally unpredictable for a human, and also the humanity, which makes a difference. And I will tell you that at Orange, if we are talking about AI, first of all, we talk about hyper-personalization. And for us, AI and all the other tools around it, because it's an entire ecosystem, it's about thinking, learning, creating, and we have two tiers of audiences. The first audience are our customers. And you know what? What I dream of is to have one day 2 million offers for each of my 2 million customers. Because this is what AI can do, but the question is, there is a but. How AI can do that? And for the second tier of proposition, it is our employees. So of course, we do like everybody else does. We train, we have an acculturation program, we have hyper-personalization when we are proposing a specific job, we are proposing a specific career development path, we do that. It is true that we are still at the initial phase of the game, but we are in the game, and that's important. So what concretely and specifically happens at Orange, and there are several use cases, but at least some of you, actually, without you knowing about it, you interacted with very mature AI solutions already, because some of you are customers of Orange Moldova. So what does it mean? We started working on our virtual chatbot, which is an apprentice of the human call center agent, even before the pandemics, actually. It was an R&D project. And through that project, which is called Jingo today, and more than 20,000 customers are served end-to-end like with any question and any solutions on a monthly basis. But before doing so, we actually introduced in our company a job role which is called cognitive trainer. Before that, we didn't have cognitive trainers. We do have, and not only one. The second use case is about my Orange application, which is a basic care application, you would say. Yes. But through that specific application, this is where personalization happens. This is where me, Olga, I will receive an offer that you, Mila, will not receive because your behavior partner is different. And maybe you will receive something else for your needs. So definitely this is what AI allows us to do. And of course, the very famous, the very practical platforms of agentic AI. Actually, I will tell you that in our company, recently, we trained all staff, of course, on these types of solutions. We trained all managers, of course, on these types of solutions. And each of us has built its own AI assistant. My AI assistant is a sparring partner. I talk strategy with my assistant, because actually being the CEO of the company, it's quite a lonely job sometimes. Nobody is really challenging you. So you need a bot to challenge you from time to time and to tell you, are you on the right path? Are you actually doing what you're supposed to do? And of course, we are talking about AI enhanced with trust. For a telecom company, for a tech company, it is extremely, extremely important to protect your data, and our know-how. So this is why we don't do ChatGPT and other similar LLMs. But we do in our own way, based on all the language models that exist, and it's called Dino2. And currently, on a daily basis, more than 130,000 people, employees of the Orange Group, are using it on a daily basis. So you see, of course, AI is among us. If we want it or not, this is a personal question already. But what is it doing it to us? Well, of course, as I told you at the beginning, our belief is that it definitely amplifies and gives you the superpower. You do have, and I do have my powers and skills, and set of skills which are very valuable for what I do. But AI makes them superpowers. So what was actually my learning and aha moment from what I just told you? Because we are flirting and testing and implementing in production a lot of AI solution. Actually, the thing with AI is, and I discovered this year. I understood it, and for me it was an aha moment I wanted to share with you. That is not driving the leadership as we thought, We were saying a few years ago that, AI there, AI, and it will drive the leadership in a specific direction. No, what AI does for us, it redefines the leadership. And actually, I am truly convinced now that the leader role in our organization is changing. And this is why we have a great opportunity to talk about leadership today. And since everybody is afraid about technology, I'm afraid we should not be afraid about the technology. Because the biggest shift is in how we manage our teams. What kind of new leaders we become. So, first, most of us leaders, we like control. Maybe we will not openly admit it, yeah? Some of us are modest, some will say, no, but I like teams to be managed by themselves. No, guys. I admit that there is a bit of control in leadership, and you need to know what you do, how you do it, who is in charge, who is accountable, who is responsible, what happens. What AI is doing, it is introducing hybrid teams. recently, we don't have only Maria, Ion, and Vasile. We have Maria, Ion, Vasile, Agent 1, Agent 2, and Agent 3, part of the same team. And you're the manager of that team. So what is your new role to manage these hybrid teams? That's a question. Second, intuition. I think a lot of leaders base their decisions on intuition. Yeah, we like data, but still, I have the experience. I'm in leadership roles for 20 years, so my intuition is actually giving me the right answers, no? And my past experience and the books I read and the networking that I have. Well, that's not exactly the case nowadays. Because, no matter the intuition, when you go to ChatGPT and you ask a question, what is your first instinct? You are trying, and you're already believing it. You're questioning yourself. And say, yeah, well, the chat told me that. That's a very, very interesting question mark, actually. But the conclusion of that is that our decisions now are very much data augmented. There are billions and billions of data points, and we need to be careful not to be making averages on averages, but the decision is totally driven by data. And the last and not least, we are used to running projects. In large corporate organizations, there is some chaos. There is a lot of bureaucracy, but there are projects. With AI, what is happening is that we need to focus more around the culture. We need to focus around what is this new environment where 50% of your staff are bots and 50% are humans. How do you run your project? Who is to be punished if there is a mistake? Can you punish a bot? Can you say, yeah, you were accountable for the wrong answer? This is a very cute question that I always say that we need to think about that, accountability. So this drives me to the three key elements of a leader of AI era. Of course, empathy. I was telling you that we are designing these hybrid teams, people with AI bots that are complementing each other. So yes, we need to lead in change. In the past, it was a word, VUCA world, but it's actually a lot of ambiguity now. So this is why you need a lot of empathy to handle ambiguity. Ethics and integrity. One very relevant use case is 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, we have implemented a new AI use case in our knowledge management database. For a big company, all the answers of the front line are in the knowledge management database. So what does it mean? It means that every agent or store frontline staff goes to the database and search for answers. So, of course, now we made it intuitive. The answers pop up very quickly. And when we implemented that, the first question was, how do we know that the customer received the right answer? Because there are millions and billions of data. There was a very clear control who puts in what and what goes out. There was a lot of human controls in between, and now they're gone. Most probably, it will work. We are still testing it, so I will come back with information. But the question is, who is accountable if something goes wrong? Is it the agent? Is it the manager? Is it the leadership team that implemented the use case? So ethics and integrity becomes even more critical. And of course, I told you at the beginning, the sixth sense, the fact that we are still authentic, the fact that we still make mistakes and hopefully we fail fast and we move on, plus our emotional intelligence, that still makes us special. Still, not everything is so dark, right? I'm sure you have heard that. But for the moment, humans are the lowest cost, all-purpose computer systems that can be mass-produced by unskilled labor. That's it, guys. We are still smarter. And we are still all-purpose computer. Because the use cases which we implement are specific niche purposes. And we, as humans, we have answers for everything. Now, the quality of the answer, that's a different question, but we do have answers. And the brain, my dears, is still the most energy-efficient computer resource. Because you know what? The problem with AI, it is that it's consuming lots of energy. Lots. If I was telling you about those 2 million offers for each of my customers, that's huge computing power. That's huge resource waste. So you see, we are still very energy efficient. Maybe we should stick like that. Human is still the best out of everybody. So of course, AI can change the world, not by replacing the humans, but by redefining what people can achieve. So what about human resources? Is AI equal to HR? How do you think? No. Cool. You know what? It's a bit of yes, actually. You know why? Because, like human resources department, sometimes HR is not giving us the best resources. They give us what they can get on the market. And this is exactly what AI does. It gives you what's up and available there on the market. But what does a good HR department do? They're actually making an environment in this company where everybody can thrive. And this is exactly what AI is giving you the opportunity to create the environment. It gives you the pen, the tool, whatever you wish, your compass to create and develop your team. So, I have actually a game and a question for you, which each of you can answer as you wish. If AI would amplify just one human strength in your team, which would matter most for you? Maybe you would like a more empathetic team. Maybe you'll like to have new products. Maybe you want to do things faster or solve problems in a different way. What would you choose? Okay, I'll tell you what I chose. Mine is speed. I'm not a very patient person. My teams know that. So it means that I want things to be done faster. Always faster. Yeah, this is a small problem, but I admit it. And my teams are getting used to that. So, but if you reverse the question to yourself, what if you would amplify only one of your own personal skill? What would that be that? You see? This is how we create the superpower. This is exactly how we can harness what we do. This is how we should look at AI, through the skills, and each of them can be enhanced individually for whom wants. Good. And if you don't believe me, and you should not believe, every speaker that comes here, I hope at least you know Jeff Bezos. You can have an opinion about who Bezos is, but for sure he is a leader that is trying to be innovative in a lot of things that he does. So what kind of worker will never be replaced by AI? At the conference, Bezos said, well, somebody like me. He actually said that he will not be able to be replaced by AI. Why? Because he has a pen of paper, and he can produce ideas in 1 minute, 12 or 13 ideas from different types of areas. This is what AI will not replace. And I leave you with that specific thought. Maybe we should create more, connect more, innovate more. Then leadership shifts from driving to redefinition, and AI will handle the rest. Thank you.